Unity Broadcasting Television don't come for unify, sensitize, and inform Salon people home and abroad. Unity Broadcasting TV don't come.
For developments now we country TV.
Unify, sensitize, and inform we all.
For developments now we nation Salon.
Unity Broadcasting TV don't come.
For developments now we country TV.
Unify, sensitize, and inform we all.
For developments now we nation Salon.
We now independent media house. We dey here for unify, sensitize, and inform Sierra Leoneans home and abroad.
We dey are so for talk, but wetin dey happen? Political discussion.
You for know about Salon politics.
Religious messages, entertainment self no go left bien.
We no go left nothing bien no.
Unity Broadcasting TV don't
For
come.
developments now we country TV.
Unify, sensitize, and inform we
For
all.
developments now we nation Salon.
Unity Broadcasting TV don't
For
come.
developments now we country TV.
Unify, sensitize, and inform we all.
For developments now we nation Salon.
This na the team them where we dey talk, but
Sierra Leone political history.
defeating the lives of fake people.
Waiting they be na social media.
One-on-one interview, we go bring you all the hot topics.
Unity Broadcasting TV say,
And we let peace and better Salon.
Unity Broadcasting TV don't
For
come.
developments now we country TV.
Unify, sensitize, and inform we
For
all.
developments now we nation Salon.
Unity Broadcasting TV don't
For
come.
developments now we country TV.
Unify, sensitize, and inform we
For
all.
developments now we nation Salon.
You go get we live on Facebook and our YouTube channel at Unity Broadcasting TV. And do ya not forget for tap the subscribe button. Same way so, if you want check now we website, just type www.unitybroadcasting.com. Now the word at all, me family.
Good morning and welcome to Unity Broadcasting, the program now, Unity Broadcasting Morning Show. Now, so I go take welcome now to this first edition of the program. 2nd of March is a march into your blessing. You where they watch we now we Facebook and we YouTube page now they will broadcast live. And now we 48 Shaka Stephen Street address now they will day. You will be opportune for sending text message to the number 076 946 948. This number also there on WhatsApp and regular text messages. Now we official phone number that 076 946 948. Of recent, we don't see development with the unfold now Sierra Leone. The current ECSL boss, where we see them just appoint, the opposition can't say now something where they not agree at all. Notwithstanding, we also see where we army officers then come. And in a jubilant moment, jubilation been surround Sierra Leone as social media went on air, where everybody been so happy with the get different comments, some in a good mood, some in another different mood. This morning I go get Commando Hassan Kumba inside the studio with me, where he go tell we how them people then manage for camp. We don't try on many occasions for reach out to the Foreign Affairs Minister Timothy Kaba. It turned down we plead. It turned down we request for let we try for interview. Again, personal perception about certain things where I don't know. But this is something I'll bring to the public that Timothy Kaba is rejecting or refusing to grant Unity Broadcasting an interview for his own personal ego and reasons, which maybe will bring to the public. The nation needs to know about it. Because when you hold a public office, it is your rights for let people then grant you interview, let them request for an interview. This is a registered media house. We are not a quack media house. We are not operating behind the scenes. We are operating with a legal mandate for Sierra Leone. So when we called you for interview, I believe you have the right to answer us. Even if not on camera, we can do off camera where the nation needs to know about waiting they go on. So this morning we'll get Commander Hassan Sekumba, where na the military then spokesman. He go there inside between at the studio. And also because of the things that we don't happen, actually where the All People's Congress then decide for boycotts and they don't put the ultimatum where it don't pass 48 hours. We will get the Lawyers Society where na Sengbe in Sef go come and talk to we Augustine Sengbe Marago can talk to we. We go tell her around the constitutional review and the ECSL, specifically the ECSL boss in appointment, whether we look at and say, now the question will pose whether it is constitutional or it is something else. We, this morning, it will come and answer. My own name is Elizabeth Kefoe Gembe. We don't see waiting to happen at the Middle East. We don't see waiting to happen at the world. This a call for concern as recent, we see where we feel price go up. The nation went on hell. Everybody angry about waiting they go on. So for sake of that, I will be joined by an individual where they based in the US, where in the talk about of recent, it based more on international politics, foreign affairs. He will come and talk to we about the repercussion where Sierra Leone forgets and how we as a nation need for brace we serve, be ready, and when the heat starts for or the smoke begin the heat we go no say now this serve as a result of this, not because of the government in power. On a stay tuned as I will be joined by Professor Mohammed Kutubu. Good morning and welcome to Unity Broadcasting, Professor.
Good morning.
All right, so Professor, you don't see waiting to happen at the Middle East. We start first with the Middle East as to the situation where we see Iran then leader President Donald Trump announced they don't kill him, he don't die. And of recent, the same day, the man be the plan for a succession plan, where we see another leader surface saying na the leader. How you will receive that message, the death of that man, and what if he say that mean for we as an African nation, or we within the third world country?
A situation like this, what you want to do, you want to go back to the history as to why this Arab-Israeli business, why it don't get out of hand to the extent you get all these other variables that we can. Now don't forget 1947, now go back, 47, when they discover Israel. 48, now actually get the independence 1948. But before that happened, you get one man who be a big man in England within they call him Mr. Buffer. What he been doing before a minister by then. He divide what he do, he divide the country. But what they do, they give the Palestinians, the Israeli people them. What they do, they give them the Palestinians in the land. Don't forget that Palestine ain't get that place. From that time day when that happened, now they get all kind of effect. You get the 6-day war we come. You get the Yom Kippur war. They get all the other half one. Who they can camp periodically with the student. And then the fundamental question we will ask now: how we go how they will able bring a lasting peace now the Middle East, but in particular between the Palestinians and the Israelis, because once that did not take place, believe me, all this half no go happen. Or even up to which happen Saturday, where the people there, the spiritual leader in the place, where unfortunately they kill them. The only way we think about you can forget a two-state solution like this when they live side by side. If they say they're not agree, so this will continue. So what not happen? The other countries are not join it. So now it don't become an Arab-Israeli conflict. Now this don't be it. Remember, President Jimmy Carter been come up with that which they call Camp David Accord. He bring them together. Camp David.
Professor Kutubu, whilst we go through all this history, we more concerned about how this will be a deterrent to we as a third world country, and not only that, so specifically for Sierra Leone, because of recent we see where fair price go up. Now with this emergence of either we don't die, and you know, say that areas, the more we they get fuel, where they can our country, trade, especially Dubai of recent, we see where run they where they say na bomb them bomb. What in they mean for we the third world country, sir?
Is that implied? We they get scarcity of fuel, but apart from the vaccine ascription, you talk about the prices. Because I want to go back to the time when they may get this same this when they may get the 60 war, 1967. How would that be affect the economy? Considering the sort of economy we get, we now actually now a donor and a sponsor economy now get me that when people in that they get for good money. This will be considerable hardship. Because watching the people that they do that the Middle East, then they use the oil, as a leverage, and they use it as a leverage. And what they will do, they will cut down the production, bring up very low out of it. Then the prices then go up, and when the prices then go up, trust me, and the average man, like you ain't get for ride the poda, you ain't get for ride the taxi or all the stuff because the prices they go up. So now that make go there in anybody in interest for ladies skinny share they take place. So like you correctly said, it get adverse effect on the economy because the prices go up.
All right, Professor, let's hold you right there as we studio guest and day inside the studio. The program now, Unity Broadcasting Morning Show. I just am joined by the two gentlemen. We come for discuss the issue of the day. Number one, we get Commander Hassan Sekumba, we now the military spokesman and the Master Sabi person. Of recent, in my introduction, we don't reach out to the foreign minister many times on Unity Broadcasting with a formal letter for make a grant we interview. Unfortunately, for personal reasons, which we cannot tell, he hasn't yet granted our interview. But we'll get to that where it's his mandate as the government minister for make it talk to the press, regardless of the medium, as long as it is a registered media house. So Commander Hassan Sekumba is here to discuss the issue around the military. At the same time, we're in a foreign Ministry of Foreign Affairs situation. And also we get the Lawyer Society, Augustine Sengbe Mara Idea for talk to me about the recent developments as in be lawyer, make it come for tell we whether the ECSL then appointments na something we constitutional or to we look at and say na something else. The program na Unity Broadcasting Morning Show. Me, your name na Elizabeth Kefwegembe. Good morning, Commander Hassan.
Good morning, Elizabeth. Thank you for bringing me a good morning to the people of Australia.
All right. It's always my pleasure, and I'm really happy that you always say adhere to we call. We hold you to high esteem to that. Good morning and welcome, Augustine. to Unity Broadcasting again.
Good morning. Thank you.
All right, so we go straight to Commando. We don't see where they don't release with 16 gallant soldiers there. It was a jubilation with Sierra Leone turned upside down in a jubilant mode. So to we, beyond looking at the diplomacy, waiting if it's in the current assessment of we border. Now we start with the border first.
Thank you very much. I want to tell the people of Sierra Leone plenty thank you for the strategic patience, for CC. Diplomacy prevailed this time instead of we use military option for secure them with people. But to the people of Sierra Leone, one thing I want to assure them, even though this don't happen, with territorial borders still they intact, kind of, and that we will continue to maintain that alertness, whilst we think this release not just the start of for resolve the issue. The main issue here, places like Yoinga, where they still there with the Guinean them, where we still not saying our own place, we go like forget that place there back to we serve. So if this diplomacy they able to resolve this, we think say we for bank on them, capitalize on them, for we will get the people then release. Especially before the release or during the release, the negotiation, the two foreign ministers talk to the press, and when they talk to the press, they also make the two ministers here, or the two heads of the delegations, we do the negotiation. Then come out clearly and commit themselves to resolving with border disputes. And they even talk about using the current process or the systems that we establish. For example, we get a border management system, then say get a border management system, and then two border management systems, and they don't come together and make a technical team, one technical team. I remember I've been part of that technical team. We go Konakry. We've been come up with a resolution. We look into the issues them. So, but that team we don't stall for over 2 years now. So this is an opportunity for let we reactivate them. And then we also talk about using the Mano River Union structure. So with all them commitments and what I don't say, in my view, this is not the time now really for let we pursue them. I expect say the minister we don't come back, he gave a debrief the government of Sierra Leone. And
all right.
That will be taken care of.
All right. Whilst we wait for a debrief the government of the Republic of Sierra Leone, there are also claims say you don't already confirm say Yenga na Sierra Leone in territory and when they intend for take them back. But there are also claims say the Guinean they don't warn we brothers and sisters and we reside na Sokoma, say then they plan for taken over. Have you heard that before?
Well, I know say we get one with honorable minister, honorable member of parliament, Mr. Tengbe. He come out, he write some pieces on that, he do some research and bring out issue. I just want to assure the people of Sierra Leone, say we take note of that, we look at them, we take them very serious. Again, we get two-track approach. One, two-track approaches, and one, for continue to be vigilant and make sure say waiting then they say they not do. And then two, we continue, as I tell you earlier, for make sure say we fast track this engagement we do. But waiting normally can happen in human behavior sometimes. Because this thing don't happen Kalahari, other border areas, then go try for make some statements around that, or go try for do things them around that. But we'll not get any concrete fact on that yet. But we'll continue for be alert, and then we'll report any incident will happen.
All right. Make a can to Augustine, lawyer, as one of the interprets the law or one know much about the international treaty, from your legal and international standpoint, what do you feel say now the status of the treaty between the two countries there?
I think first things first, I know say we still get the Mano River Union treaty arrangements. So correct. I think that should be a sufficient starting point. I don't know whether they still get an office in Salone, because I know see them get Mano River Union. I think also, since President is the current president of ECOWAS, I think we can also leverage that one day for resolve. And thank the military that then pursue non-military approach to that one day, because Guinea and Liberia are our immediate neighbors then. And we finally we're always there at peace, trading and a lot more. But also I feel like the Yenga plus the other areas that we surround Yenga, that issue they don't linger for too long. And I think say it's about time that we resolve them decisively. Because you would see that on the Guinean front, then go as far as for showing coordinate say this not the territory. I know that the colonial borders there, but pre-colonial era we also been get borders. So finally we also engage historians because they're also understanding things and they better. Because for let's say place like territory for the able for show over a period of time consistently, say them people and they been they were Guineans, the language, the culture, the interaction, and what have you. But I think right now we get opportunity since President is head of ECOWAS for make sure say they're able to trigger mediation measures then with the ECOWAS. For example, ECOWAS court, not just human rights. Most people don't say ECOWAS court say resolving in arbitration. So if you get contracts, for example, within the ECOWAS basin, you can easily go to ECOWAS court. So similarly, then get mediation jurisdiction also. So then able mediate between countries, but also resolve them, adjudicate between countries as well. And I think that it's about time that we thought about doing that essentially, since because even the Chief Justice now is also chair of the Chief Justice of ECOWAS. So we get so much leverage now for say let we resolve, because today might be Yenga or this other territory, or tomorrow it can be within Honorable Falateng Bebini talk about. So once you allow your neighbor for a next one, they keep annexing. And I think that's the danger. But we have sufficient tools now to leverage for resolve this.
All right. Lawyer, you don't say we get sufficient tools, but somebody will say not because I'm in this position that I had to act now. I have to have the mandate. Yes, Sierra Leoneans are very proud that they get a president, we're an ECOWAS chairman, and we don't get a Chief Justice. Also, we don't get this high profile now the ECOWAS. If he said that could be a deterrent for let this case here end, or let this particular problem here solve forever?
Yeah, and I know they say they might act outside the confines of the law. Okay. But they say if you're not chairman, you can able to determine agenda. So in their meetings, you can say law put Yenga, law ensure say the heads of states or the contracting parties and we then come together, then go able to look at Yenga and take a position. They could also, for example, appoint a delegation, fact-finding mission where they go Yenga and all other than neighboring towns and villages for good determine exactly what's in the issue and then they come out with a position. Then there can be a basis for resolve. If not, they can trigger the ECOWAS court for look at her. But I think that now we get sufficient leverage for ensure say we expedite the resolution. Because we don't want to pass this problem to other generation. We sometimes understand we history very well. Because we picking it now, back then 20 years, down the line, they don't understand the history sufficiently. So they might not be in a better position to resolve. Now the current generation and the older generation, we understand the history more than them for resolve this so that we not pass on a crisis. If you look at Ethiopia and Eritrea, they fought for so long because of them funny issue that day. So you want to resolve them rather than you pass them up, let not become a generational crisis.
But then we have a sitting president who at first been at the Security Council, a chair. During that chair, a lot of Sierra Leoneans then come out and blame and say, why you not bring on the issue of Yenga when in a more of security issue. Now, in a ECOWAS, when even in a UN, when a more of that time for bring them, and not being able for mention them. For some reasons, when they may come and tell we, now that in a ECOWAS. So which one supersede more way for them bring a lasting end to this problem?
I think that Security Council is more global. I think that Guinea Salon border crisis is very regional. I don't think it's sufficient enough for the escalate at that level, right? So I think that would be perhaps, a misapplication of that empower the feeling trigger younger at security level. We get really serious crisis across the world, Palestine, Gaza, a lot more Sudan. So I think that, I agree with her and say younger is, enough for being at security level. ECOWAS is the right place. And I think that when we think about hosting ECOWAS and the conference center in Alunge, and it's fine for build infrastructure, but also fine for build peace first. Because without peace, all the buildings and they go be at risk. So to the build first internally, domestically, and regionally, in a peace between and amongst neighbors there, before we focus on infrastructure and conference center.
All right, Commander, let we come to the average Sierra Leonean, the question within the ask. When Sierra Leone go begin see a reaction at diplomacy rather than just this quick fix to a permanent settlement of this situation where it don't linger for so years?
So I just want to let the listeners then know, say, you get instrument of national power. Defense now one, diplomacy now another. So just name it two. I can talk for the diplomacy, but are limited. What do I mean by that? I'm more confined to defense. I think the minister or in team then go talk better on diplomacy. But from my own knowledge, I think, again, I just go repeat myself. If we don't go get this engagement, the two ministers, they don't commit themselves. I think, say, if me not been the minister on my own side, now my entry point to that. I can revert to that. So it's a matter of come work with the national instruments, all the national instruments, especially with border management system. Try to get the facts them. But already I know, say, because like I said, I've been done there in the technical team, I know the legal instrument, whether or not the maps them, the one from France, the one from United Kingdom, all in document, and they can take them and help them for assess the diplomatic situation. As the lawyer been they say, the Mano River Union, now let's set up, it can look at this. So we can use that corridor for the diplomatic resolution. ECOWAS, as he also mentioned, now another avenue where we go use for resolve this issue. So using the technical team where we done set some 2 years ago, using the Mano River Union platform or the ECOWAS platform, I think we get an opportunity here for using the diplomatic. Although, I mean, Engo say more on the legal, there are time in day where I be understand say and we discuss the legal how for go about that, whereby we can Engo explain that, and I want to go into that. But the diplomatic, the military ready for support the diplomatic option, because we think say the military option and now an option. But if you look at the advantages and disadvantages, you go find out say you get the disadvantage overweigh the advantage for use military option. The legal, inside go talk about the advantage and disadvantage, but the diplomatic what you ask me about, for me the best course of action for now, not diplomatic. However, people go say, but this thing don't linger around for long. And it bring one point to very salient. Now this generation where we know the history, we know the situation, and probably we more in tune with her. We feel more because now we own time they happen. Generations coming later, they don't even care. Then they go say, but what's in a younger? Okay, let's just give up younger. You never know. Generation go can't wait because they not get the history, they not get the commitment. In fact, you see now in the born picking a younger. The next moment, they don't can grow up in a Freetown. They don't even get time, you don't get connection to younger. So we might lose that interest. So it's better, this now not the time. Let's pursue all the options and then see how we go resolve this issue. That's what I would say.
All right, on the military standpoint, somebody go still, they wonder, okay, they don't go bring with militaries, then they wonder with them seize the 16 men. Somebody again with the another area. How the military reinforcement or security base, now then 2 areas in Yenga and that of Falaba, where it will bring more security to the villagers within the surrounding and the village. How on our deployments and how the security apparatus currently?
Well, the security apparatus is in place. We got national security architecture. We get the military as an institution, they look at them. The police as an institution, they look at them. Then the national security architecture, we bring it together. They in different layers. At that level, you get what we call chiefdom security. You get the district security apparatus. You get the provincial security apparatus. All then structures here, they're in place. Then they meet regularly. And even the soldier then decide for go to that place and erect that flag and then try for do that work there. Because the chiefdom security apparatus, then we done the meet, the local chiefs them, and even the people that were born at them village, you know, they get a system where they can say, my papa be done for me and my grandpa. So then they know to themselves, they know them boundary. Or because them boundary be don't make over time, sometimes they can forget them. Because of the intermarriages, if you look at that area, most of the women them were born at that place. They all the Guinean and they don't come marry them and carry them go. So that thing don't make them woven. So much so that at that lower level, they no one get no understanding. They no one get problem. Because if problem come out, now the in-laws them. They're all not the same people. So in terms of structure they in place. In terms of reinforcement they be driven by several factors. Alertness, if the number where they, if the security situation. So, but from time to time, the ASLAF or the National Security Architecture will assess the situation. When this thing happen, security level is upgraded. I know I can't tell you now saying that we'll put 2 people there, we'll put 3 people or whatever. I cannot give you those details. But rather, I go tell you, say, we've been trying to man the border position as appropriate at that time. And we'll continue for assessment as the situation arises.
Commando, there are claims that the soldier man then still they complain, say they don't get enough manpower. That is one. And then to the public where they listen to you, we say them be erect that flag. Is the flag still there or it has been uprooted?
From your question, I look at them from different angles. In terms of manpower, the border, Salone, let's say look at the Guinea-Salone border no more. It's so porous. People get so many routes then for go between Guinea and Salone because, as I say, the relationship between the border communities. Some of them border locations, Alex, if you take, we say they put the whole Salone into the armed forces or into the security architecture. We're not possible. You're not going to man all the locations. So the manpower issue will always continue for day. But I just want to assure with people and say, now make ASLAF every year we do recruitment. This recruitment now for make sure say we right size to the number we need for carry out, we mandate, and the border security now one of that.
Then the flag, is it still erected or
then the flag or walk now that it's just like the lawyer go tell you better. If una don't go make some small dispute over a place, sometimes they can say na injunction I can give. This is not something like self-injunction. We go want for go back a bit. Or we go on for left that place they force until we don't go commit ourselves with with foreign affairs and their own foreign affairs. I make her say it's very important now for we really this fast track whatever agreement don't go come out from yonder. If things and they will need follow-up actions, we need for do them like now or like yesterday.
But
so,
Commander, the question is, what is the current status of the flag? Is it still erected or it's been removed?
I would say it's not erected. Okay. And I'll tell you why it's not. Because we no one continue for create misunderstanding. We want to resolve the thing to diplomatic means. All
right. Make a can to the lawyer. We don't see how the lack of boundary demarcation don't leave this contentious area as a no man's land, according to waiting the colonel they say right now, the commander they say. Because Guinea, they attribute saying that in Getam, Sierra Leone, they attribute the flag has been taken away. It's no more erected as per confirmation. You feel, say, this a good for we nation or waiting could be the way forward? Moving.
It's difficult for put a value tag on that, whether it's good or not good. But I would say that some of them here are relics of colonialism. You know, if you follow history, the Berlin Conference of 1880s, where colonial powers meet Germany, and then use ruler, and then divide Africa. So essentially, you would see that, for example, Mina Kuranko, but Kurankos then they across Guinea to Senegal. So these are common people that we live together, and then colonial masters when we understand history, they just use ruler and pencil and say what they divide. Yeah, what they call on Guinea. You France, now you get her. Yeah, what call on Sierra Leone. You Britain, now you get her, etc., etc. So it's a struggle also of identity, and so it's a difficult one because the way they say the intermarriages and so deep that even if you go say Yenga now na Guinea, you know, practically you can't separate Salone from the Yenga because the same woman there, we don't come married to the Guinean, say non-born Pekin, then Pekin and get for course over Salone. So we therefore get a more beyond diplomacy, a practical way for Siam. I mean, I don't think that a two-state solution when they propose for Gaza would work. But therefore look at practically. Because you don't want for can declare Yenga saying a Salone and then exclude, for example, the Guineans say women don't come over and then don't can intermarry and then don't can settle like Yenga. So we have forget the experts for look at some of them here. So it's difficult for say whether it's good or bad now. Because obviously if you get intermarriages, you get also say cultural fusion. And then they enhance not just culture but also trade and also the viewpoints you know of the people. So I think it's a much more comprehensive approach so that we don't miss out perhaps on the good. No, not just can take Yenga and then we miss out on the good in terms of the interaction between and amongst villages. Because if you can declare now in a Salone and then you run fence, it means the younger people are on this side where they no see them family and the other, where they no see them picking and go married on the other side of the fence will be deprived. So forget a more practical and really comprehensive approach to this. But I know that it's something that is solvable.
All right. Before I come to you, okay, go ahead.
I just want to add something to what you say. We talk about the comprehensive approach.
I want to bring kind of foreign analysts way they on air, but go ahead,
okay.
Sir.
You talk about comprehensive approach. So I just want to point out to the viewers and listeners about when we been go to this technical committee, we been make one subcommittee where we look at socio-economic activities there, whereby then go say, okay, let's put facility in here where the two communities they all they use, because like they say, that line, sometimes it's good for avoid the lines, saying that this is not the border. The border, then go know the border, but activities they now way they do, and they make the two country and then the two, like they say, Yalonka, let's say Yalonka in this context. Already then get one organization with both Salone Yalonkas them and the Guinean Yalonkas them, then belong to that organization. We're not something way socio-economic. So in the future, not be surprised and go say, then go make markets now the border, where these markets they serve both the Guinean community and the Salone community. So I agree with them. Comprehensive approach really it will help for us resolve this issue.
All right. Before I get to your last question, Professor Kutubu, are you still on air?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now you don't be waiting the two studio guests that don't say with regards to a lasting solution. As a foreign analyst, what do you feel say Sierra Leone go do more better? And Guinea go accept we for let we flag be erected again at the location or a specific ground outside Sierra Leone we own boundary?
first, I don't know if we roll back for a look at this incident where Guinea don't grab Yenga when they say that they get them. I don't know which are the foreign policy in this system where the government don't actually put together, for make sure say they clean. But that said, though, any nation in a foreign policy are being guided by the fact say go forget a very credible armed forces, because we are not going to prosecute foreign policy, effective foreign policy, we not backed up by credible national security apparatus. But not just even see what happen against them here. So if we will go back to it will take a look at we armed forces yesterday and the armed forces today. And when I talk about yesterday, this not to any indictment of this government. This the antecedent now we stretch back to the advent of Sheikh Stevenson. From the time where he gets that confrontation with John Amadou Bangura, where they try deny we armed forces them effective fighting mechanisms or things them because what may happen, the Stevens government be rely more on the I call them
All right, we don't get loss of Professor Kutubu. He will come back. Now, Commando, this will be my last question to you as me and lawyer go continue inside the studio. So the average person where they watch you out there, now this system don't calmed and not solve it. When would they expect the next treaty, or when would they expect the next level of confidence building for this area?
Okay, before I respond to that, probably let's talk on what Professor Kutubu believes.
Okay.
In terms of, they bring a point about credibility of the armed forces. I understand they talk about then. That was then. They assume, say, they try to talk about from where we get independence, how the different transformation with the armed forces we don't go through. All I want for assure them and we viewers and listeners is that when the war done in 2002, as part of the setting up of the institutions them and restructuring the government of Sierra Leone, we've been getting a security sector reform. This security sector reform, the RSLAF now one of the institutions and where they assure you say, we go through that restructuring there, and the product of that restructuring, as a country, it bring a national security architecture. We make before we've been work in stovepipes, where RSLAF they work on their own, SLP they work in their own, and other security sector institutions and they work on their own in their own. So the SSR bring we all together. So where security or defense issues come, we work as a team and look at them. And this structure don't help with today. It don't make RSLAF over since 2002 to date. We don't do a lot of transformation. RSLAF been huge. We've been just come out from war. You take part by the DDR process. Later, we've been get to call Joint Force Command, where then we downgrade the Air Force, where I belong to, and the Navy to Air Wing and Maritime Wing. But today, we get a policy paper, we're not the defense policy and national defense policy and strategy, where we want to transform for the next 10 years. So I just want to assure in and with viewers and say, the armed forces today, we don't identify what our problems then. We don't look at the threats and where they loom around. Maybe we'll find a day for discuss issues like that. But we don't identify that. We don't say with a restructure in terms of putting structures in place for able to deal with that. We don't see funding and budget as we challenge. For example, we don't put in mechanisms. We don't set up a defense enterprise service. All this for able to give you resources so that instead of we rely heavily on government budget, we're also able to get revenue from other sources and able to take care of that. So just to clarify on that, the armed forces with better position, we know where they go, we don't plan for that, and we'll try to reduce the burden. That's a very important for bringing that out. But again, the armed forces still still would they work as part of a government. The government today, in terms of dealing with border issues, they want to resolve them through diplomatic means. And if that is the case, now that means they will serve the do. We therefore continue for train, position we serve, equip we serve, and be able. But in as much as government they pursue diplomatic option, we not, at this time now only preparation we go do. We go prepare ourselves just in case the government say they want to try, they want to use other option. That's the point I will make.
All right. Before the spokesperson left, I want to let you answer this question. When you feel say Sierra Leone go move away from reactive democracy to waiting instead they talk, where maybe then go need them for service?
Yeah, I think that's a very good point because, you know, whatever you say, I think it was a bit humiliating for let them take with Sojaman them. And then, you know, reportedly them, you know, transport them, go Conakry and then, you know, at some point and take pictures and videos of them. I think it really, because anytime the way see, you know, the security na an instrument of power. So if then take with Sojaman and they humiliate them, people like they don't humiliate Salone. You know, so for them, the foreign minister then been go across for go negotiate and release. For me, that's a reaction. Because we don't left the Yenga issue unresolved for so long, we see there small skirmishes from time to time. And I don't think say this don't paint, you know, very good picture in terms of we proactiveness. And I think it's really about time that we demonstrate, say, we want for be proactive in this for resolver. Especially because we don't choose now for, say, na diplomatic means one for resolver. Because there are other means, judicial means, for example. You can refer this dispute for interpretation, the Kwasi ECOWAS Court say, but also the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. You know, we can look at the issue and then get experts and we can resolve them. So these are all proactive means. But since government don't choose the diplomatic means, we sometimes can be faster, because sometimes they court say decide a matter, even the person will win, nor they ever get good relationship to a loss. So sometimes, you know, even as a lawyer, I tell my client all the time, you know, if you want for win and then also win the person, court is not your best option. Diplomacy, they mean say you win, it's a win-win in diplomacy. So both parties, they laugh, they all you know, gladly. Which I think is the best approach, but I think we need for accelerator now. Otherwise, there are other neighboring villages here. They go capture whether not people are now, etc., etc. And then the picture we then create recently would not. And mind you, I mean, military security expert, but if foreign troops then they come and then can take portions of your people or you sojaman them, they send a picture, say the architecture not that very strong. It can be a misleading picture, but it will be a picture. And you know, once internally, people away mean bad, begin to think, say, if they can relate them this way, we safe for begin to think, you know. So all of those should be factored in the proactive approach for make sure say we don't get any.
Make some clarification.
All right, Colonel, any clarification to that?
Yeah, I just want to make some clarification. Yes, I mean, depending on where you sit and how you look at this thing, the humiliation bit of it. But the case of apprehending military personnel, not to the first time this will happen around the world or even Sierra Leone. A family link, remember where UN them in there, it happened with them, with the British forces them in Kaya. Let's take the British forces for example, just for discuss what they say and look from another perspective. When British forces them in Kaya, they may apprehend about them 8 plus 1 Sierra Leone with 9 around Okra Hill. What in them been do at that time? Because then find out say the people are not being cooperate for let them release them. Then try for negotiate, they not release them. When I been see them in Kaya with some then count their own elite forces when they're doing the special air service. When they come, they may free them, they may go attack the base and then free them. We may also get other scenarios where they may hold Zambian troops, I think from Kenya as well, and Mali, something like that. But because they be able to negotiate, then release them. So you get so many options open to you. But the release, yes, humiliation, it depends on how, like I say, or they say, humiliation, it depends on how you argue. But in this context, we people they allow themselves to be taken. Why? Because the Messiah say if they mean resist, it lead to confrontation, the ripple effects will be too much. If it don't even lead to probably border closure, and if that border they close, what will happen? The people then waiting living at the borderline, and then go suffer, you know. So now some of them consideration here, where would the train of personnel for deal with situations like this? Whenever you get an incident, first you get to do your assessment, analyze the situation, understand what will be your best course of action. You go look at different courses of action. In this case, one, them if I don't choose to fight back, even though they may overwhelm them, because the number of people that will come, the equipment that will carry, they even carry with aircraft, jets or aircraft, just for make sure say, whatever situation they may meet, they may for win that fight. They may come for fight. But we men then say and say, okay, let's don't fight. Rather, probably just organize in a way where one or two people then go explain to higher command for let them know what will happen to a chain of command. Whilst we go cooperate to them, we not say diplomatic option go win. So I just want to make the clarification. Yes, humiliation, people go look in that way. But for me, our guys who are brave, waiting and do in the interests of the government and people of Sierra Leone. If they may choose to fight, whether they know the government in position, if I don't create some investigation and some other problem. Like today, what do they say? If it could be anything, it could be any problem we will not able to deal with as at this time. Rather, they may get some restraint, the problem able to solve within not too short a period, but the period within which it resolved and the condition in which they come back. I think we appreciate that.
All right, the program now, Unity Broadcasting Morning Show. We take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will go into the lawyer Ian side, where we will talk a little bit about the ECSL boss in appointments. Wanna stay tuned.
This is an official notice from the National Social Security and Insurance Trust, NASIT. The management of NASIT wishes to inform the general public that it has observed unauthorized occupation and encroachment on lands legally owned by the trust. These lands are bona fide property of NASIT, acquired and held in trust for the benefit of contributors and the nation at large. Therefore, the management is currently engaging relevant government authorities and stakeholders to address the situation and reclaim all encroached lands. In view of this, all individuals and groups occupying NASIT lands without lawful authority are strongly advised to vacate such lands with immediate effect. Failure to comply may result in enforcement actions, including eviction and legal proceedings in accordance with the law. Members of the public are further advised that any person who encroaches or attempts to encroach on NASIT land does so at their own risk. Be mindful, all NASIT protected lands in the provinces have a warning metal signpost stating that this is property of NASIT and demarcation pillars to show the lawful demarcation. NASIT protected land are found in the following locations: along Go to Kenema Highway, inside the Nasibo City housing project site and its surroundings with demarcation. NASIT land out of Go City. NASIT land in Kenema district. NASIT land in Makeni City. And NASIT land situated in the Freetown Peninsula area. You have been warned. NASIT remains committed to protecting its assets in the interest of its contributors and the public. This notice is signed and issued by the management of the National Social Security and Insurance Trust. NASIT, we care.
All right, welcome back to the program now, Unity Broadcasting Morning Show. We continue the program with Augustine Sengbe Mara. We now the head of Lawyers Society. We can talk a little bit about the appointment of the ECSL boss, we then just approve. Now, Augustine, I put the question to you. The appointment of the ECSL boss, these to Sierra Leoneans, they look at and say, it not being constitutional. As a lawyer, if you say it adhere to the constitutional requirement for neutrality or the word mentocracy.
No, let me make this very clear. The current 1991 constitution, the provisions we did regarding the appointment of the Chief Electoral Commissioner, that provision there was complied with, right? So it no be correct for say it was not constitutional. It would not be correct. But we own position at that not to all waiting constitutional democratic.
Why you say so?
I can always give this example, but apartheid laws. So apartheid, I mean, law way they passed by parliament. So it was proper, it was good. It come off from parliament, but I mean bad law, right? So you can get a provision. If you buy like during the time of Hitler, most of what Hitler they do, they go through parliament structures, etc., etc., and then pass the law that day. But then law that they been inhumane and also been very, very terrible, to say the least. So we have a situation where we don't get recommendations for change that particular section there, section 32, in terms of the appointment of electoral commissioners. From the 1991 constitutional review to tripartite, all the people who participate in them processes and they come to the conclusion. So one part of the problem they will get with the electoral system, now the way and manner in which the electoral commissioners are appointed. Because the appointments so heavily political, it means say they get people away, get more political lenses for conduct with elections. Because now then the members say, now this person I mean pick me, so I get for do in bidding. So then say, we for move away from that system, the way president and they appoint electoral commissioners to a system when institutions and people and drawn from all walks of life, where they appoint them people for conduct with election. The reasoning now that if you get a situation there where electoral commissioners are appointed by institutions and persons drawn from all walks of life, then go be more independent. But if you get a situation when one person, when the president, no more they appoint electoral commissioners, then go more likely than not favor the current regime. So then say the appointment, and the very first reason why make we elections and not be credible. So this is the position where the constitutional review process and the tripartites put forward. And as we talk now, this very provision day before parliament for change. So in the midst of this very provision where people don't criticize for over 20 years, where they before parliament now for change, in the midst of that, you use this very provision for appoint. One, it shows say the government not demonstrate good faith. You don't go into negotiations with the opposition. International community come as a moral guarantor. Una don't decide say no this provision for change am. You don't sign. Una don't go now to the institution wait for change am. A day before and now you use the same provision for now appoint. One, it shows say no, you were not committed to that process. You not demonstrate good faith. And it shows say you let that process say because you believe say it go favor you. So you use them before they can change them. So it comes back to saying that while it's constitutional because they not change it. So now it's still on the provision and now in the use and they don't comply with them. So it's constitutional, but one, legitimate. Two, democratic. Because democracy means say we all for come together and then the majority sentiments should be adhered to. So the majority sentiment are that we for change this provision and they don't take steps for change, including tabling it before parliament. When the government self now don't put them before parliament, say change them. But in the midst of that day, you now hurriedly go, you appoint under the very bad provision where you self to agree, say that provision they problematic. And I want by the provision where they make elections not credible. So it's constitutional, but it's not legitimate, it's undemocratic, and it demonstrates, say, this government does not show good faith in constitutional reform.
All right, now we look at the opposition, their own claim. They claim say the tripartite for don't supersede the appointments, according to them claims, and we even see them give a 48-hour ultimatum where we go candy. In your view as a lawyer, if he say, or to the ordinary Sierra Leonean, when this tripartite go take effect, the implementations go start foresee the implementation effectively.
No, interestingly, I remember say last night I'm going to offend the newspaper publication where they do tripartite. I think me na the very first person we say tripartite not legal. And then I remember say somebody when they say, oh, why are you saying this? And I remember I was in some consultative conference where National Elections Watch me organized. The ambassador, US ambassador was there at that time. I say if tripartite, that report say they not put them before parliament no debate them, and parliament no adopt them, then there's no way you can get any force of legal recognition. And I think the last year I checked to date, the tripartite agreement was never put before parliament for ratification. So meaning the tripartite is not just a goodwill document. So it cannot take effect over the constitution, no. And I mean that was a blunder on the part of the opposition, because now them me they cry a lot of foul with the 2023 election. Now them for the ensure say them put them before parliament for let parliament ratify. People like the ordinary mining agreement where they can get, and they can't go parliament for ratify, because some of the provisions then get an effect for affect certain laws. And section 40 of the constitution say any provision where they affect any law, if you put them before parliament for let parliament ratify. If you want tripartite provisions them for affect certain provisions of the law, put them before parliament. But as a date, the last year I talked to somebody when a member of parliament say it was never put before parliament. So you never get a effect say for override any provision of the law. If you buy like now goodwill documents no more.
So in that case, we consider the opposition all them claims for be baseless?
I don't know side and claims and they come out. I mean, like I said, democratically, they might be looking at the broader democratic picture and say, oh, if we don't go agree, you don't sign, I don't sign, we need for respect them, But so in law, then say the once somebody don't sign, you are bound for respect which you don't sign. The Vienna Convention on the Law of Treaties. It says once you don't sign, you're bound for respect which you don't sign. So you will not come back and say, okay, I sign them, but I not ratify them. No. And say, no, once you don't sign them, you're bound, even if you don't ratify them. Right? So sometimes they look at that broader picture. Say, even though Parliament don't ratify them, but you've been signing them, so respect them. In terms of the legality, no, you don't get any force of law. You cannot override anything. And if not strictly legally speaking, what the government don't do for a point, not unconstitutional. But in my view, it's undemocratic, good for the general national cohesion, because we don't get repeated problems with the election. We want to get elections we're credible. If somebody win, we all know say win. If somebody lost, we all know say he lost. right? So maybe the 48-hour ultimatum from the opposition come up from the point that, oh, we will not make meeting. We don't sit or we don't discuss. Now we all come up with the 80 recommendations here. You bound for respect what you signed. And like I say, in law, Vienna Convention and Law of Treaty say once you sign a treaty, an agreement, once you sign, you are bound to respect it, even though you not send an parliament for ratifier.
All right, Professor, are you still there? Professor Kutubu, are you still there?
Yes.
All right, so Professor, somebody will say my words are not my bound. What I said should not be quoted in any court of law. Now, they not ratify this tripartite here. Unfortunately, the opposition still the time say the tripartite for supersede the constitution with regards the appointment. And at the same time, the government of the Republic of Sierra Leone, they look at and say the 1991 constitution supersedes that of the tripartite. And now we get a lawyer inside the studio who say, yes, it is not ratified. So you, as a diplomat, we can talk about foreign affairs and know the history of Sierra Leone. Which is which?
Okay, thank you so much for this question also. And I must tell you, I'm really glad when there's a lawyer, sit down there actually when they talk this. You see this problem when they go through election business? And all that also, the antecedents, they put them back to APC under Shaka Stevens. I don't know how old the lawyer be. I don't know how old he be. So perhaps certain things that the way he talk, I don't know if he been under school, he been under law school and all that. But I can tell for sure. When we go to Lancaster House, May 1960, we come up with that constitution where we get that constitution. When a parliamentary system where we get, we not be get none of them from ISO. None. The parliamentary democracy, you're like putting the in England. And then what is about we don't always argue when it comes on presidential system, we don't get the capacity for now. We don't get the capacity for run a presidential system. And one where they put an extraordinary and plenipotentiary power in one man they be the be all and end all. We see this under Shaka series, he was everything. Long go back from the one party system. Would have bring up now APC bring up under Shaka series. But why send me there in opposition? When SLPP want to introduce them, they're gonna cut. But as soon as they come to office, they bring up 1978, and that goes for even the Republican bill. All of that, Shaka series and demagogue, all that thing, they demagogue. But as soon as they come from April 19, you don't introduce them. The only solution will get for get Naya. Some of we don't talk them day in and night out. Hey, SLPP go, other party come. As long as that this 1991 constitution will apply content, that fellow will be there for the college maybe them because they may own idea this for push more for the other color. That's really pantego. And when you been there now, we may be in talk. I don't always vehemently oppose anything like a tripartite. Now, waste of time, absolute nonsense. It don't make no sense. Why? Here's the argument for that. John way Obama elections get consequences. When we are all election, now only now one person there for win election. Now one person, you will lose. If you get a case, can't win a court. If you don't get a case, just accept it. But the problem I see about the opposition, everything get for go their own way. If you not get, you not go their own way, that's it. And they're lucky enough, they get a president who is very accommodating. Very accommodating. This and the politics of appeasement. That line bring about World War II. Politics of appeasement. When they say Mr. Hitler, then have be a reasonable party for the elections have long been over. If the opposition not be at a column, then if we don't go to court. Law who apartheid, no. In total, then what they undermine, what the voters they don't go to nine and they undermine. There's no need for that.
All right,
and
Professor.
Some people continue for that.
All right.
Yeah,
Professor
but-
Lawi left you there. Thank you very much for your time as they continue the program inside the studio. Thank you so much. So now, Lawyer Marala, we look at the dance way, the ECSA bossman dance. Where we go show you the dance day. Probably you don't see on the media, but for the purpose of we listeners, then let them see whether we go play that dance to you. So the ordinary Sierra Leoneans then go say the man was celebrating. And then the opposition on the other side look at and say it was a provocative way for let it show them say it has been done. Indeed. Now look at that dance say, as a day inside That's not the dance. Immediately after in approval, the opposition deem and fit say it's provocative to them. But then, to other quarters, they said the gentleman was celebrating after acting in that position for long, and the contention we've been there around in approval. As a lawyer, what do you think of that dance? One side opposing and the other side saying it's a celebration.
I think I like the dance. Yeah, I think I really like the dance. I don't think anybody go fault anybody in terms of how they celebrate. Because, for example, you can get, let's say we get a teacher we don't teach in our school for many years, 20, 30 years, they make them principal. We, or head teacher or head mistress. During company, they all celebrate and say, oh, but this he deserve, he don't take etc., etc. So, I don't think it's appropriate for you dismiss somebody in terms of how you celebrate. Some people in the way, if they don't get good news, then they cry. Some people in they dance. Some people in they go quiet. Some people in they become jubilant. So I think, say, for focus on the more important matters. You want to see the dancer really like in moves, It tells you that somebody will not stock up. Some people in really appoint them that they now like, then they salute themselves. But this is a big man we get for Caron institution and they dance this kind of way before in staff, means that somebody will get good relationship with in staff them. So I think, I would not make any heavy weather of the dance. I think the more important, and by the way, we own position as lawyer society. Now the fact that, and we make this position very clear, say anybody who been there in 2023 elections, any of them commissioners, we not think say them fit for run the 2028 elections. We have to break free from 2023 elections. We forget new set of people we bound by the new law we parliament they about for pass regarding appointments for ensure say they run we elections going forward. Now that make us say the dance not an important issue. The important issue now whether this appointment of Edmond Alpha can be viewed as, pay time, basically crediting for what was done in 2023 elections. For me, that's the important bit. Because if we complain about 2023 elections to a point that international community they may get for fly cancer alone for carry resolve the matter, and the one that we may do that election say in be one pandemic, you cannot reward bad behavior. You must not reward bad behavior. And then small tier what they do in society. Now they make the younger generation go feel say, okay, it's okay for that do bad. At the end of the day, then go promote me. So for me, I think less about the dance, more about the message that has been sent. To say they can make me electoral commissioner, we can conduct elections, and even we all results them mathematically impossible. To a point that few years down the line, they go make me chief electoral commissioner. So we should not be in a democracy where bad behavior is being rewarded.
All right, regardless the thought of the opposition on the incredibility, on your own points or standpoint, do you think he can run this country's election free and fair?
For me, I think I'm thinking more in terms of democratic progress. For we progress with democracy, I think that the position should be that all the electoral commissioners within the 2023 elections, we should have a new set with for run with elections going forward. Because the problem is we already get an institution we trust very, very low in ECSL. You know, ECSL, now one part institutions we all the reports say they don't pull but salon they tell you say trust in an institution very low. And ECSL should be an integrity institution. We mean say integrity institutions then trust level therefore be really high and they will for trust. Feel like the police, the judiciary, anti-corruption, these are integrity institutions. So once you have very low trust in an integrity institution, it means say reforms are needed. And then the tripartite recommendations say, and then they did before parliament. You know, in our view, none of the, not just Edmond Alpha, not Sabian personally, he might be very good at his job, but what was reported in 2023 from international partners, observers, etc., they not give the election day any pass mark, right? And the one that we've been oversee the election say in 2023, we think say they not for be part of the next batch we for the 2028 election. Unfortunately, by appointment now, it means they not get for Superintendent 2028 elections. And you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. No. So you can pass this law, you do everything. If the man is an old dog, it's an old dog. And if you get the same commissioners, you can bring all the laws in America, all them wonderful democracies. If you give them to old dogs, they would apply older tricks.
All right, so the opposition now threatening for boycotts. We are really Honorable Abdulkadir Gordon Tokam with the 48-hour ultimatum. Now, if this continues, they not make a second thought. They not do a rethink. They not reverse this boycott here. What in that they mean for with democracy?
I think with democracy, the fracture done too much. But I mean, without advice in the opposition, I think the best they could have done was to summon the moral guarantors of the tripartite to say, now I began sit down between we, and then I be agree with we, and sign with we been signed between we. But the other party, they expect some provisions and so we invite on a back camp or call them so that they can respect. Especially because tripartite was not ratified. Yesterday, I really felt them for pull up the newspaper where they report misstatement. And I remember saying a few government people, they may reach out and say, what you they say so, this and that, blah, blah, blah. You know, I just shook my head yesterday when I remember saying, oh boy, I saw this long time, you know. And I took my time during that consultative conference day, you know, for tell people and say this has to go to parliament. Parliament has to ratify it. But nobody not be listening. Here we are. Yeah, so for me, I think the best bets now for someone, for invite the international moral guarantors of tripartite, let them come back and then perhaps open process and see how, because for example, during the civil conflict, so we get Boku Boku agreement, not just Lome. Lome was the critical one, but then we've been go Ivory Coast, for example, before Yamoussoukro, before Lome. So you may get a lot of agreement before you come to that critical agreement. So I think that if they may not summon international moral guarantors and then they don't state a position, if they cannot resolve, then what they have done could have been the next best approach. But I think, say from now, the need for invites the moral guarantors, basically the arbiters, for let them come and then come resolve this. Because for me, I think fundamentally, it feel like, you know, government don't spend in term, international community don't spend about $1.5 million on that process with the US being commit, and all of that they can't go down the drain because we're back to square one.
All right, in that case, did they put the horse before the cat? Or put the cat before the horse? Why I think so? Then give a 48-hour ultimatum before they go meet moral guarantors. The day the gentleman was to be approved, now we see video or picture surface that they went to U.S. Embassy and other areas. So meaning, did they put the horse or the cat before the horse? Which they would have done?
I think that once they may receive that letter for consultation from the Office of the Presidency, then for don't trigger the international community one time and say, no, we're in the middle of implementing some of the recommendations. You cannot now use and trigger very same provision who they're about for change. And I'm wondering, the government information minister will say, oh, what if Parliament not pass this law? Or what if Parliament takes 6 months for pass this law? I say, wait a minute. If Parliament really want pass law, we don't see a situation outside they pass law in 24 hours. You know, usually they get waiting and calls certificate of emergency. If they want pass on certain laws, then they pass them as quickly as possible. Summon parliamentarians and they can go through all the process. So if they been get a political will for pass this, they could have passed it. Because after first reading, information around is that government is stalled. Right? The government is stalled. They don't see, they don't receive position papers from a lot of stakeholders. They don't receive positions from the opposition. And then they stall. And by the way, they also agree, say the entrenched clauses should be taken out of the bill. Pull them, make sure say them proceed with the one they were not entrenched. We no go require referendum. You can able pass them. So the complaint say, you are even the government now they lead the parliament. So if no one really want pass them and ensure say when I use the new provision for a point, you could have done so.
All right, now this Section 108, when are the entrenched and non-entrenched clauses, now you just talk about. So in the situation wherein the All People's Congress truly refused for going to Parliament, and now we get these amendments where they in progress, they end up for pass all those bills into law. Would they come again and blame Sierra Leoneans or blame themselves? Which is which?
No, I think I talk about legitimacy. So legitimacy, not to law the give legitimacy. So the apartheid regime was a legal regime. They may get parliament and they pass law, all in segregation laws that were legal, but they were not legitimate. Legitimacy, they come off from acceptance. You can pass law, people and say, no, on this law, now you pass it for yourself. Right? So the law legal, but not legitimate. Legitimacy and acceptance. So you can say as well, say, okay, APC no day, let we pass all kind of agreement, let us sign all. You go pass it, it's legal, because at the same parliament, the instruments of power day, but it's not legitimate, because you don't get general acceptance. So at the end of the day, you will continue to do something way they lack acceptance. And the best way for as a government and
but
as
they have refused to go to Parliament. And if all those bills are passed, Augustine, I don't know whether we had to blame the government or they themselves had to blame themselves. Because then say, law go na parliament, law go pass laws. Then you say you know they go.
Okay.
So all those laws, if they pass, the bills pass into law, let's say all way to they cry for. Then use are now in absentia. Then use are now say, okay, we get 2/3 majority. There are two individuals, we already from the opposition, they Thompson and Mohamed Bangura, they make a forum, right? So if all of these, they don't reconsider coming back to parliament, I don't know what's the way forward for the nation and whether they will cry again as a baby in the end.
Okay, I think the government also understand what it mean for the broad consensus. Now make them go sit down, do tripartite with APC for let them get in a parliament. Because they know say, even if they may assume say, okay, well, we don't set up parliament. If they want to come, we get 2 of the members in here, we can continue for one go. Do they understand what in legitimacy mean? That make them go sit down at tripartite and then APC go into governance architecture. That's been said. If this don't happen also, means it towards 2028 elections. General, but not just elections, but a lot of international partners will tell you, say, we would not do business with the government if opposition not do. Because opposition will shape discussions, then go ensure say we give funding to government able use them well. So it's not even in the interest of government for let them ignore APC and then go ahead and then pass all kind of law. Because then laws and they will be passed, but they're not very legitimate. So it's in the interest of government for let them ensure say then sit down with the opposition and find way for resolve this. Like I don't say repeatedly, that mistake where they make where they not ratify tripartite agreement, right? But that's being said, you can't cry over spilled milk. Let the government of the day ensure say then sit down with the opposition for resolve everything regarding tripartite. Because their recommendations and then pass them essentially for let we ensure say we not get waiting happen 2023 in 2028 or beyond.
In that case, this will be my last question. What is your advice to the opposition as of this morning?
Well, I don't know where the opposition get for pay me legal fees for this advice. But for me, 2 things. One, the very paramount thing we need for do, like I don't say enough for ensure say they engage with the international moral guarantors. You know, during that crisis, Omigeko was Ibn Chambers been come, the lady from Gambia come. We also need to get a similar invitation for let them come, summon all the parties and say, this was agreed, right? And these have to be implemented. The recommendations, the way they not implement it, then therefore ensure say they implement them prior to 2028 elections. And maybe things say above all, what in this parliament for don't do, you know, for ensure say they ratify tripartite, all the recommendations, and then based on the ratification they now, then can now move into so today we'll not talk about tripartite, not get any, you don't get any force of law. Now goodwill documents no more. You know, and I said this, and believe you me, I will go dig into my archives, and perhaps I would share that newspaper with a report where I say tripartite is not legal. I say it's a waste of time.
All right, the program now, Unity Broadcasting Morning Show. Plenty thank you to we studio guests. The one on X out, and we get Augustine Sengbe Mara way there in the studio. So when we send on text messages, congratulations to Una. Of course, I go read few text messages and few Facebook messages. Maybe say, Elizabeth, you've not been reading my questions, my text messages for over 1 week now. What is going on? Please, Mr. Sengbe Mara, if you are really honest with this government, do you want to say they have not done anything good? And if the opposition refuse to go to parliament, let's leave them. Let all the bills and laws, the bills be passed into laws. And finally, they will come and be crying like cry baby. And if that happens, the nation will still continue regardless of them. At least we have Mohamed Bangura and Thompson, and we have other 12 political parties who are in support of what is going on. This is not the APC SLPP thing. We have to move further to make sure Sierra Leone is a better choice for our children and great-grandchildren yet unborn. I salute you, Mr. Lawyer in the studio, but please make sure next time when you are coming, read certain sections of the Constitution so that you can inform us much better. That come up from Mary. Joseph say, your legal point of analysis, I do not agree. I wish I can share a platform with you. I'm not naming my identity, but I feel like this is one-sided. Elizabeth, you should have brought somebody from the government side so that they both can discuss, because I see his lens is not properly cleaned. I mean, I'm speaking figuratively, and he knows what I'm talking about. But there will come a time when, okay, I will not read that side. That come up from Joseph. The last one we come inside the text message. The number is there. He said, bravo to Unity Broadcasting. This conversation is really educative. Should the opposition decide not to come on board, please do not bother anybody about it. As for the military man, his submission was not quite clear, because we actually need a foreign minister in the studio to come and tell us much. He's only trying to fine-tune what he can say and the one he cannot say. Diplomacy at this time, let Timothy Kaba come and talk to us. Why it a balance on our studio? Maybe it don't afraid you, but anyway, that is between you both. I hope he reconsider one day and grants you an interview. All right, that's I go to the Facebook page messages. Mr. Lawyer, are you saying the president take instructions from the international community? And another one say he has freedom to dance as long as it is within the law. Somebody calls and threatening people when I say na freedom of speech, but in wrong way person dance. Yeah, something certain happens for a reason. Elizabeth, stop dancing in the tune of APC party member. Okay, I will not read that. From the honest point of view, it is very wrong for him to have danced to the song of such nature immediately after his approval. He is very, okay, I can read that one. Josephine Williams says, sir, S.23, 3 in brackets, read it first before facing justice on this issue. Okay, there are some I not go decide for read because the military man don't left now the studio. So, Augustine, these are messages that came in that you can reply to, sir.
Yeah, I think generally, you know, I would say that fear to me because I know come do an assessment of this government.
Correct.
So enough fear to me for letting the Texas say.
For PRU.
Yeah, I know can do an assessment, and I don't ever don't say this government don't do anything at all. I don't ever say that. I say been fine with and sit down at tripartite, been fine and sign. So wait, you not fine away, you don't sign documents, you know, expect them. Then you not fine. If you don't want, you know, for sign. So you know, say you not committed at all. But you know, go don't sign. Now you self said don't take the bill to Parliament. So I can't change this provision on how we appoint. And then during the process for change the law, you go use the old law. Huh? The very law we want change, you use that law there now for do the appointment. You not show good faith. You know, you not show good faith. Wherever you stand on anything, you not show good faith. I mean, in terms of whether government for proceed and ignore the opposition, I think the idea of parliament now for get all shades of opinion. We can't have one parliament. We can't have one-sided parliament. It's wrong for democracy. Democracy, they accommodate all voices and all shades of opinion, right? Even if the opposition or someone in the international community, I think the government can say, okay, well, the opposition not left for now. Una become can mediate between we. Una come back, we see them, say okay, we resolve. This that no mean say the president they take instructions from the international community. No, it means say the presidency want for let with democracy work, because however I put them, if APC do withdraw from the governance architecture, whether na central government or local council, it affect we all. At the end of the day, now the people be affected. So I think it's also in the interest of government for ensure say their opposition go back to parliament and go back into governance. And for we, from a democracy point of view, I think say that's the best approach. Egos are not for fly, because I see a lot of egos and this. Oh, when I ignore APC there, when I just go ahead and do no. Democracy does not work like that. You know, when Nelson Mandela come off from prison 27 years, most people in the think say, okay, now we don't have power now. We have to do it, man, and no boku. Let we ship them across, now do the exactly what they do. Say no. Democracy means say they should be here. And to a point that even one day we mean at the status, the weights, staff and at the status, you may retain them. Say no, they go inside. Now they can't serve me now. You know, because that's democracy. All shades of opinion. Sometimes go be pleasant. Go sweet you, but you want for the one. And I agree with them. That possibly say if there's freedom of speech, there should be freedom of dance. That is why I said that the dance matter. That it left to the individual. Some people are waiting and get excitement and they cry. Some people are waiting and get excitement and they, then they go into their shells. But some other person can dance. And I think say that dance material wrong. What's wrong in all of this? The fact that the government don't show good faith towards the tripartite goodwill document.
All right, the program now, Unity Broadcasting Morning Show. Plenty. Thank you to our studio guest, Augustine Sengbe Mara, we now at the head of Lawyers Society. He come follow we talk about the appointment of the ECSA boss and the further waiting happen at Falaba and that of Yenga. Plenty thank you to our studio engineer, David Harding, Alfred Pewa, and Mary, we they in training, and also to Una. We send one a text message. Congratulations, you we not send. Tomorrow is your day and your time. Stick to the point and not deviate, please. The one way they cost me, it is your right, but again, it is my constitutional right to host who I want to host and to ask the tough questions that I want to ask. Stay tuned. Thank you to producer Suleiman Jallo for this great show. Your name now Elizabeth Skefwe Gembe. Good morning and bye for now.
Unity Broadcasting Television don't come for unify, sensitize, and inform Salon people home and abroad. Broadcasting TV don't come
for developments now we country.
Unify, sensitize, and inform we all.
For developments now we nation salon.
Unity Broadcasting TV don't come
for developments now we country.
Unify, sensitize, and inform we all.
For developments now we nation salon.
We now independent media house. We dey here for unify, sensitize, and inform. Sierra Leoneans home and abroad.
We dey are so for talk, but waiting they happen. Political discussion.
You for know about salon politics.
Religious messages, entertainment, self no go left again.
We not go left nothing, no.